Okay, welcome to lesson 4-2, part 2. There's a short one here, another Venn diagram here. This is completed for me here. We're going to answer the questions. Okay, I want you to note too that there's a 0 in there, but it doesn't have to be there. If there's no 0 there, that means there's no one in there, so that would be fine to write the 0 or not to have that 0 inside that problem, okay? In ours it has 0, which is fine. All right, okay, so let's get our total first of all. I want to add all those up. It looks like 8 and 4 is 20, and then I have 29, 31, 40. So it's going to be out of 40. So all my problems are going to be out of 40 unless I give you a given. So they're going to be out of 40. This will be out of 40. This out of 40. This one aren't given music. Oh no, that's out of just music. That'll have a different total. It's not out of 40 anymore. Okay, art. Let's get started. Art. Art means anyone in art. That means all these people. I'm not talking about math or music. I don't care about those. That's what I'm figuring art. Well, in here we have what? 1823, I believe, if I add those up right. 23 out of 40. I would need to reduce that if it could, or I could write another decimal as well. Okay? All right, math and music. Now you have to be in math and music. All right? So let's get rid of this thing. Math and music. All right, so there's music, there's math. They have to be in both. We're looking at this area there. There are 2 out of 40. That would reduce to 1 over 20. You need to reduce your answers. Okay, art or music. Art or music is anyone in art or anyone in music. And if they overlap, that's fine. But it's everyone except for those. I could add all those up. There's a quicker way, though. There's just 8. 8 are not in art or music. So 40 minus 8 is going to leave me 32 behind. This is 32 out of 40. And again, I would reduce that answer. Dividing by 4, that would be what? Or 8. 4 to 5. Okay, art given music. Okay, now I'm talking about music. So now I'm talking about only in this group here, the music group. All right, so I'm talking about just here. That's my total. There's 9, 10, 11, and 5 makes 16. This one's out of 16, okay? And I want to know the probability that if you're in music, I know given that you're in music, that's the probability you're in art. So probability of art given music means given that you're in music, I know you're in music already, what's the probability you're in art? If you're one of those people, the probability that you're in art, there's 7 of those. 7 out of 16, okay? All right, our next example is a long one. Okay, in order for you to be good mood at school, you need to have slept well, had a good breakfast, and have exercised the previous day. Suppose the probability that you sleep well during the night is 0.87, the probability that you have a good breakfast is 0.62, and finally the likelihood that you have exercised on any given day is 0.57. Assume these events are independent. Okay, what's the probability of these different occurrences? So I'm going to go ahead and pull the information out of the problem that I want. I'm going to say the probability of sleep, 0.87. Probability of breakfast is 0.62. And the probability finally of exercise is going to be 0.57. Okay, and remember they are independent, okay? So if I get an and problem, eating well and exercise, independent means that the probability of 2 events happening that are independent, I multiply them together. That will affect that second one here. Okay, eat a good breakfast or sleep well. Okay, well, this is the probability of breakfast or, I should write that, breakfast or eat. Okay? Okay, these are definitely not mutually exclusive. Okay, so that's not the probability of A plus B. It has to be the full formula that's general. Probability of B plus the probability of exercising minus the probability of breakfast and exercising. right? I didn't leave myself much room there. Okay, but again, if it's mutually exclusive, that means that wouldn't be there because it would be 0. But in our case, we know it's independent, even though I don't know what that is. Since they're independent, I know that's the probability of B times the probability of E. Okay, so let's write out our math for this particular one here. All right, the probability of getting breakfast looks like it's 0.62 plus the probability of exercising 0.57, okay, minus the probability of breakfast, eating well, which is 0.62, and exercising, which I multiply together, 0.57. I know this because they're independent. Okay, let's get my answer there for that one. I got a 0.8366. That's my answer for part A. Okay, eating well and exercise. Oops, I want to put E for eat. That's breakfast and exercise, since they're independent. I know that's the formula there. Okay, breakfast again is 0.62 and exercise 0.57. Multiply those together. Gets me 0.3534. Okay, probably you're in a good mood. Well, to be in a good mood, you had to have breakfast and sleep and have exercise the previous day. Okay, this is going to be the probability of breakfast multiplied by the probability of slept well multiplied by the probability of having exercise. Okay? All right, one more note. You don't need to show this work on the AP exam, but you do need to show the calculation. So you want to plug your number in, at a minimum, plug your numbers in and show that step. So breakfast is 0.62. All right, sleeping is 0.87, and exercise is 0.57. All right, let's get that. 0.62 times 0.87 times 0.57, and that is 0.3075. Okay, have done at most 2 of the 3 events. Okay, well that means I could have done at up to 2. I could have done 1 or watched none. I could have had none of those events, or 2 of them, or 1 of them. I said that backwards. None, 1, or 2. All right, now that's a lot of work. I'm going to start writing that out. You can see what I'm getting at. Okay, the probability of no events happening would mean I didn't sleep well, sleep complement, and I didn't have breakfast, and I didn't exercise, a complement of all those. That's that one, okay? And let's see here, plus, or I could say or, that means add, the probability of 1 event happening, let's check that out, probability of, let's say I slept, and that meant I did not have breakfast, and did not exercise. Okay, and I can switch that to had breakfast, didn't sleep, and didn't exercise. I can say exercise and didn't sleep and had. That's just multiple ways. There's ways for that to happen. And then I could have had 2 events happening. That's another set. That's a lot of work, okay? So this is kind of like at least where I have a special rule. This is too much work, so there's a much shorter way on this problem. I'm asking you for that nothing happened, or 1 happened, or 2 happened. The only thing I'm not asking you for is all 3 happened. Okay, so I can do this. This is going to be 1 minus the probability of sleep and breakfast and exercise, okay? So this is the only thing I'm not asking you for. If I was to list all the outcomes, I want every one of them except for that one. Okay, so it's 1 minus that, all right? Okay, and sleep is 0.87. They're independent, so they multiply together. Breakfast, 0.62, and exercise, 0.57. Okay, at most and at least, look for that. Doesn't always work out. Sometimes there's no shortcut. 1 minus 0.87 times 0.62 times 0.57 gets me 0.6925. Okay, have done at least 2 of the 3 events. I've done 2. I have done 2. Let's list them out. That means I didn't do 1, right? Let's say I slept and had breakfast, and then I didn't exercise. Or, okay, I'm going to list them this way. No breakfast, okay, or no sleep and breakfast and exercise. Okay, I've done at least 2. I could have done 2 of the events or 3 of the events. Okay, this is all the option for 2 of the events, or I could have done all 3. Okay, that's quite a bit, but if I was to go, well, what if I looked at the rest of it instead of the ones they want, because that's kind of a lot of work. Okay, what if I found the ones they didn't want? Well, that'd be either 0 or 1. 0 would be like this, and 1 of them would be the same amount of work, because I'm not saving any shortcuts there. Okay, so it's going to be long one. Let's write it out. So sleep, 0.87, and breakfast, 0.62, and not exercise, 0.57. It's going to be 0.43. Okay, or it's plus. I'm going to add all these together. Put it down there. Sleep, 0.87. Breakfast, no breakfast, 0.38. Okay, and exercise, 0.57. Okay, plus down here, no sleep, 0.13. I did have breakfast, 0.62, and I did exercise, 0.57. And then finally, I did sleep. I did have breakfast. And I did exercise. I'm going to skip the calculation for that. It's long. You don't need to watch me do the math. Okay? So that was a case where I asked you like the worst thing I could. Everything I asked you for was for a lot, but it was the same amount as everything I didn't ask for. I just had to do that work. Okay. Probably you have not had good breakfast, but have slept well and exercised the previous day. That's specific. That's exactly asking you that you did not have a good breakfast complement, okay, and you did sleep well, and you did exercise, okay? Not have breakfast. Breakfast is 0.62. That's 0.38. Sleeping, 0.87. I slept well. I exercised. Those are the odds of those happening. 0.38 times 0.87 times 0.57 gets me that math right there. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for part 2.